Today's topic is formal sector and informal sector credit. Page number 48. Actually, what's the word meaning of formal sector? Formal means official with the rules and regulations. In the case of variety of credit arrangements, we have seen that people obtain loans from various sources. The various types of loans can be conveniently grouped as formal sector and informal sector loans. In the case of formal, loans from banks, cooperatives are the formal sector loans. The informal lenders or the informal sector credit includes money lenders, traders, employers, relatives and friends. In our textbook, page number 48, there is a pie diagram showing the sources of credit. That pie diagram, drawing and learning is good and fine. In rural households, we can see commercial banks 25%, cooperative societies 27%. So 25 plus 27, it's a 52%. The remaining part, so commercial banks and cooperative societies comes under formal sector, and the remaining 48% from the informal sector. Landlords 1%, money lenders 30%, 30. Traders 3%, relatives and friends 7%, and others 7%. So pie diagram draw in your notebook. In the case of formal sector, the Reserve Bank of India supervises the functioning of formal source of loans. For example, the banks maintain a minimum cash reserve balance out of the deposits they receive. The RBI monitors the banks in actually maintaining CRR, cash reserve ratio, or the cash balance. So what's the first function of RBI? RBI monitors the banks in actually maintaining the cash balance. Secondly, the RBI sees that the banks give loans not just to profit-making business and traders, but also to small cultivators, small-scale industries, to small borrowers, etc. Not only to big profit-making institutions, but also to small industrialists, small farmers, cultivators, etc. That also RBI has to see. That's the second function. Thirdly, periodically banks have to submit information to the RBI on how much they are lending, to whom and at what interest rate. So in this we can see the functions of RBI, the Reserve Bank of India. They are supervising the functioning of formal sector only. In the case of informal sector credit, there is no organization which supervises the credit activities of lenders in the informal sector. They can lend at whatever interest rate they choose. There is no one to stop them from using unfair means to get their money back. Compared to the formal lenders, most of the informal lenders charge a much higher interest rate. Informal sector, no supervisor, high interest rate. Thus, the cost to the borrower of informal loans are very high. Higher cost of borrowing means larger part of the earnings of the borrowers is used to repay the loan. Hence, the borrowers have less income left for themselves. That we have seen that example in the case of Sapanas, in the case of Shamal, etc. In certain cases, the high interest rate for borrowing can mean that the amount to be repaid is greater than the income of the borrower. This could lead to increasing debt and debt trap. People who might wish to start an enterprise by borrowing may not do so because of the high cost of borrowing. Because of these reasons only, banks and cooperative societies need to lend more. This would lead to higher incomes, and many people could then borrow cheaply for a variety of needs. They could grow crops, do business, set up small-scale industries, etc. They could set up new industries or trade in goods. That's why cheap and affordable credit is crucial for the country's development. So assignment, cheap and affordable credit cheap and affordable credit is crucial and important for the country's development. Country apostrophe S, country's development. Explain. Answer page number 49, left side. What are the bad effects of or the consequences of high cost of borrowing, and what are the problems of the informal sector credit? Most loans from informal lenders carry a very high interest rate and do little to increase the income of the borrowers. Thus, it is necessary that banks and cooperatives increase their lending, particularly in the rural areas, so that the dependence on informal source of credit reduces. Secondly, while formal sector loans need to expand, it is also necessary that everyone receives these loans. At present, it's the richer households who receive formal credit, whereas the poor have to depend on the informal sources. It's important that formal credit is distributed more equally so that the poor can benefit from the cheaper loans. Page number 50, questions. What are the differences between formal and informal sources of credit? Why should credit at reasonable rates be available for all? That's the same answer, high cost of borrowing, isn't it? So, question number 1 and 2, differences between formal and informal. Okay, that same answer by noting down these value points. Formal and informal sector. Column wise, you can make the answer perfect. And why should credit at reasonable rates be available for all? That also answer we are getting from the high cost of borrowing. So please learn these answers thoroughly. Okay, take care.